Right, we're going to connect to another expert now. After months of insisting he's not in a hurry to reach a real deal with North Korea, President Donald Trump tweeted he's willing to meet Kim Jong-un at the DMZ. Pyongyang appears to be on board for now. Its vice foreign minister said the meeting would be a significant event. To find out what this sudden development could lead to, we connect with Stephen Noerper, a professor at Columbia University and director of the Korea Society in New York. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Thank you.
Well, President Trump is scheduled to visit the Demilitarized Zone on Sunday. How likely is this surprise meeting with Kim, in your opinion? Trump said he's happy to just shake his hands and say hello. What can we expect from this exchange? Possibly a third summit?
Well, it's certainly highly likely, especially since we've heard both good statements on the part of the U.S. side through the president's tweet, as well as North Korea's KCNA and Vice Minister Che mentioning that this would be good and memorable. So that's a positive indicator. And it's no surprise if we remember 1 year ago, Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un sat down with only 24 hours notice, and that put the Singapore talks back online. So this is really meant to kickstart the next round, and it shows the importance of South Korean facilitation and the commitment of the White House, which really wants to see a little further progress. Remember, we have limited time here as we get into the U.S. political season in the fall and winter. So it behooves both North Korea and the United States to get back to the table sooner than not. Osaka presents that opportunity through the G20 and through this visit between Trump and Moon Jae-in.
And President Trump has been flaunting his pen-pal relationship with Kim Jong-un and heaping praise on the young leader despite North Korea's projectile launch last month. Are the flatteries part of a well-calculated strategy?
Well, it's part of his art of the deal, which is to use coaxing as well as praise to try to create a positive reinforcement and strike at a deal. That seems to be his vantage. This is a top-down led process, which is different than what we've had in the past. So the words of the president and his attitude are deemed important, and it seems to be one where the North Korean leader is most comfortable leader to leader. So if it works, it works. And the important thing is to get to the table to strike at denuclearization. And again, the critical roles and the timing in terms of the necessity for all the leaders involved. Kim wants relief in terms of economic modernization. Trump would like to score a political victory before heading into the U.S. political season. And certainly Moon Jae-in, for his popularity and the credibility of his approach on inter-Korean relations, would like to see a win as well.
And before the G20 summit in Osaka, Chinese leader Xi Jinping visited North Korea, which was largely interpreted as a form of messaging and pressure. Do you think this worked, and do you see Beijing playing a greater role in the denuclearization talks going forward?
Well, yes, indeed. It seems to have been the signal with Xi's visit, and it's something that should both positively reinforce Seoul's instinct that there is a desire in the regional community to facilitate that reconciliation. On the other hand, too, it pulls the mediation or facilitation role of Seoul a little bit more off-center because they have to allow for Xi's role. But remember, it's also the North Koreans and Pyongyang playing a bit with Beijing, with Washington, and with Seoul to try to strike at what they consider the best accommodation and what will get them the most economic assistance. So be prepared for a more significant Chinese role, and be prepared for a more significant Russian role as well. Putin has made that clear, and the meeting in the Russian Far East with Kim also signaled that. So we will see more international actors, and again, that's to Seoul's benefit. And the international actors need to be looking at Seoul leadership on this front.
Well, President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's second summit in Hanoi earlier this year ended early with no deal. If we do see a third summit soon, will this third time be the charm? Will both sides be more prepared this time around?
Oh, sure. I've always said Hanoi was a part A of an A-B or an A, B, and C process. We learned some important things from it, despite the walk away. And this next round, both leaders, meeting the North Korean leader and the U.S. leader, will agree to come only if there has been some arrangement, some agreement on at minimum partial denuclearization in exchange for a partial lifting of sanctions. So do expect to see more happen this next time around. It won't simply be symbolic. And it's an important path, a complicated path, So we in the international community need to allow a good deal of time for this process. And they're overcoming 70 years of hostility. And that's important to remember as well. But everything now for the North Koreans lines up by way of a progressive Seoul administration and a White House that seems to be receptive. But the clock is ticking. That may not always be the case. So it behooves North Korea to really come and make some accommodation. And the White House seems intent on making that happen in its recent statements in preparation for a new round of talks.
All right, Dr. Noerper, thank you so much for your insights. We appreciate it.